So friends, are you sitting down? Because we just learned that Judge Aileen Cannon is about to do Donald Trump another solid. Shocking, I know. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, just yesterday, I wrote and posted a piece talking about my concern that Trump-appointed Judge Aileen Cannon was about to help Donald Trump bury Volume 2 of Special Counsel Jack Smith's report. That's the volume detailing the evidence of Donald Trump's classified documents crimes, his obstructing justice, and his violation of our nation's espionage laws. You may recall Attorney General Merrick Garland said he did not intend to release the report publicly. Why? Because Donald Trump's two co-defendants may still face trial on charges related to the classified documents, Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira. So Merrick Garland said, I'm not going to release it publicly. I want to preserve their rights to a fair trial, but I will release it confidentially to the bipartisan leadership of the House and Senate Judiciary Committees, so, among other things, they can perform their constitutionally required oversight responsibilities. And Judge Cannon said, nope, not so fast. And she set a hearing for today, Friday, the last business day before Trump is sworn in on Monday, and she set the hearing in a case over which she has no jurisdiction. And now, friends, based on the reporting coming out of that Florida courtroom this afternoon, my concerns, my fears about Aileen Cannon helping Donald Trump bury Volume 2 from congressional House and Senate Judiciary Committee leadership, well, seem to have come to fruition. This from ABC News. Headline, Judge appears likely to block Attorney General from releasing final report on Trump's classified documents case to Congress. And that article begins, a federal judge in a hearing Friday appeared likely to block Attorney General Merrick Garland from releasing Special Counsel Jack Smith's final report on Donald Trump's alleged retention of classified documents to select members of Congress. U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon, who dismissed the case last year based on the constitutionality of Smith's appointment, is considering whether to prevent Garland from allowing the chairman and ranking members of the House and Senate Judiciary Committees to view the volume of Smith's report covering this probe, with Friday's hearing serving as epilogue to the criminal case that legal experts say once posed the most significant legal threat to the former president. Cannon, in court, suggested it would be premature to allow the congressional members to see the report while the Justice Department continues to appeal the case against Trump's former co-defendants. Quote, there is really no way this court can do anything or enforce anything about leaks, Judge Cannon said. What can I do if somehow this report gets leaked? Well, the answer to that question, Judge Cannon, is you can't do anything because you don't have jurisdiction in the case. First of all, you dismissed the case. Thereafter, the case was appealed. Your dismissal ruling was appealed, and I happen to think it will be reversed by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, but that's beside the point at this moment because only the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has jurisdiction, has authority over the case. You don't. And yet, there's our Department of Justice litigating away, ignoring the jurisdictional impediment to these hearings even being conducted. They're just trying to win on the substantive issue. You know, I had so much concern about this happening, playing out the way it's playing out, that yesterday I wrote this piece and posted it. So friends, with your kind indulgence, can I just quickly read you the piece that I wrote and I posted yesterday expressing my concerns that this is exactly what was about to happen. The piece is titled, "Why the Battle Between Judge Cannon and the Department of Justice is Worth Your," really should be our, attention. In a win for transparency, Volume 1 of Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigative report documenting Donald Trump's alleged 2020 election subversion crimes was released Tuesday, reminding readers of what the report calls Trump's unprecedented criminal effort to overturn the legitimate results of the election in order to retain power. Now, the less good news. Judge Aileen Cannon, who had temporarily blocked the release of Volume 1 of Smith's report, has made it less likely that Volume 2 will be released to the leadership of the House and Senate Judiciary Committees by scheduling a hearing on the matter for Friday. Given Trump's Monday inauguration, the stakes in this battle for the limited release of Volume 2 of Special Counsel's report, which focuses on Trump's alleged classified documents crimes, are high. The stakes are high. In a dubious legal ruling in July, in which she ruled that Smith had been unlawfully appointed, Cannon dismissed the classified documents case against Trump and the alleged co-conspirators, Waltine Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira. The 11th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals has not yet ruled on Smith's appeal. Because Trump won in November, and because the Department of Justice's Office of Legal Counsel is of the opinion that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted while in office, Smith dismissed Trump's federal criminal cases such that the president-elect is not part of the present appeal that's before the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Importantly, when transmitting his report to Attorney General Merrick Garland, Jack Smith recommended that Volume 2 not be disclosed publicly, given that the case against Nauta and de Oliveira remains active, and in the event Cannon's dismissal is reversed on appeal, they should be expected to face trial. Garland agreed with Smith's recommendation against publicly releasing Volume 2, but announced his intent to make it available for in-camera review, meaning private, non-public review, by the chairman and ranking members of the House and Senate Judiciary Committees. Prosecutors note that such limited, non-public disclosures to members of Congress are routine and necessary to ensure that Congress can fulfill its own constitutional oversight functions. To minimize the risk of public release and potential harm to Nauta and de Oliveira, the chair and ranking members of the House and Senate Judiciary Committees would be required to agree to specified conditions of confidentiality, including an agreement not to share information in Volume 2 publicly. Now, this seemingly esoteric court battle is worthy of our attention for two reasons. If there is non-disclosure of Volume 2 to members of Congress, what might a Trump-led DOJ do to the evidence? Might it be destroyed in an attempt to make sure Trump is never held to account for the classified documents crimes? Recall that the documents case was dismissed without prejudice, which means the case could theoretically be refiled once Trump leaves office. Second, and this is arguably the larger and more enduring problem, the Justice Department is litigating this issue as if Cannon has authority to preside over these matters when she doesn't. Cannon never had jurisdiction over Volume 1, the election interference case, as that case was presided over by Judge Tanya Chutkan in the District of Columbia. Of course, that did not stop Judge Cannon from trying to stop Merrick Garland from releasing Volume 1. She had no business saying anything about Volume 1. I guess that's my editorial addition to my piece. And she, Judge Cannon, lost jurisdiction over Volume 2 when she dismissed the classified documents case. Because it's on appeal, only the 11th Circuit has jurisdiction to take any action. As my friend Joyce Vance, the preeminent appellate practitioner, noted, the strangest thing about this entire proceeding is that Judge Cannon continues to issue orders when there is no case pending in front of her. That's not how a court's jurisdiction is supposed to work. In my 30 years as a federal prosecutor, I encountered judicial overreach like Cannon's a handful of times, and frankly, I shouldn't say like Cannon's, nothing as dramatic as what Judge Cannon has been doing, but some judicial overreach nonetheless. I always fought against it, believing prosecutors had a responsibility to oppose such overreach. In fact, we had a term for the decision to ignore judicial overreach. We called it feeding the monster. I would make my arguments to my DOJ supervisors in favor of filing a motion opposing such judicial overreach, believing it was important to fight such battles rather than just doing the expedient thing and trying to win on the merits. Some prosecutors, though, concerned about antagonizing the judge presiding in the case, declined to fight those battles. My personal experience was that more often than not, the DOJ hierarchy refused to wage righteous battles with judges. This seems to be the decision prosecutors in the classified documents case have made. Instead of taking up the jurisdictional battle in earnest, they're trying to win on the merits of the substantive litigation. This approach has echoes of Smith's decision not to try to have Cannon removed from presiding over Trump's case after the 11th Circuit twice ruled Cannon abused her judicial discretion to the extreme benefit of Trump. And then, friends, my piece goes on to talk briefly about, what might happen in today's hearing, though we now have some reporting. And I talked about my concern that maybe Judge Cannon would just delay her ruling until Monday after Trump had been sworn in, just sort of throwing the entire issue into the hands of Donald Trump's Department of Justice. And I think we all have a pretty good idea of what might happen to the evidence that incriminates Donald Trump once Donald Trump takes control of the Department of Justice. But it looks like rather than delay her ruling, Judge Cannon may just jump out and do Donald Trump another solid. Prohibit Merrick Garland from giving Volume 2 of Jack Smith's report to the leadership of the House and Senate Judiciary Committees. So let's hope, if that is the result, that there are plenty of copies of Volume 2 that are protected and preserved for potential future use. Let's hope that the evidence itself that is documented in Volume 2 is protected and preserved for potential future use as well. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.